headed back
Good
to check
move.
out my boobs, which, as I told you yesterday, have had a little issue since breastfeeding. They say capsular contraction happens to, some women who have breast implants.
So you're like nipple moved?
The artificial knockers. So I guess what happens is, the best way I can describe it, as it has been described to me, is when they put the implant in, there's a little pocket that it sits in, right?
Okay.
And if any bacteria or anything gets in there, any way, shape, or form, however it happens, your body starts to see that implant that has been part of your body for 8 years. In my
I remember
case.
that day.
That was also a
well.
good day.
It starts to see it as a foreign object. So the capsule starts contracting and it pushes the implant up and it's trying to push it up out.
How dare it?
Right? So
pretty soon it'll be a shoulder pad.
So yes, exactly. So what it looks like, the best way I can describe it is what it looks like is I have permanent cleavage on the left side. It's pushed up, the implant. You can see it up there. But the nip doesn't follow. So the nip is like, wah, wah.
So like if your
Just on one
nipples,
side.
if you're looking at your nipples straight as if they were eyeballs, is it like you're looking to the side?
No, it's like one eyeball's looking right at you and one's like, kind of looking down.
But the boob itself is lifted as if it's still in a push-up bra? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. But the nipple does not follow that perkiness.
Can we put a picture of it on Instagram? We won't put your face.
I don't
We won't
think
use your
that's
face.
appropriate. Speaking of pictures, though, it had been 8 years or 7 years or however long it's been since I got them. And yesterday, as I'm talking to the doctor, he's filing through my paperwork, and I saw my before picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that, my little tiny boobies.
Hello, old friends.
I haven't seen you guys in a
You know what's funny? Speaking of little tiny boobies, I was talking to this guy yesterday. He was because I'm looking for a new TV show to watch, and he was telling me about Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You need to watch it. What's it about?" He goes, "It's about prohibition in the 1920s." Pass. I'm not interested in that. And he goes, "But lots of nudity, but there were no boob jobs back then, so they have to find actresses with no boob jobs, which they say is almost impossible."
I would think.
Like Hollywood, it's like
Correct.
they cannot. They're using a lot of the same actresses, which is bad because I guess some of them were killed, some of them whatever. They can't find women with natural boobs.
Why care?
To be in the show.
That's an HBO show, right? So is Game of Thrones, and they don't seem to care about that. They put in fake boobs all over the place.
And I guess the same thing with Wolf of Wall Street when they shot that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. They had to find actresses with no fake boobs, and it was almost impossible.
Said to go to Australia. That girl was from New Zealand.
Probably.
So what's the diagnosis on how to fix said boobage?
Okay, well, Dr. Shaw, who I absolutely love, he said that basically I have to go get a mammogram and an ultrasound on my boob, which I didn't even know they did ultrasounds on boobs, to figure out whether or not he thinks that the implant may have ruptured.
Oh.
If it has, then I have to get surgery sooner than later. If it hasn't, then I've got a little more of a window of when I need to get it. But either way, I have to get surgery on my boobs.
Will you be out for 3 months?
No. That's what I said.
Can you
do it on a
I
weekend?
said, what are we looking at time frame here to take off of work? Because I kind of just took 3 months, and I'm pretty sure they don't want me to leave again. So he said this one's a little easier than the first one. So basically, like 4 days, a 4-day thing, and he operates on Thursdays. So, but interestingly enough, he gave me this option, which I'm kind of now in somewhat of a, I wouldn't really call it a pickle, like total first world problems. But he says you have to decide whether or not you want the same implant size or if you want to go bigger.
Well, we could make
my
that.
God.
We could make that
Your boobs
option.
are huge already. They're like
my
D's,
head.
right? You got D's, right?
Yes.
And you're
but,
a tiny person.
Okay, but they got bigger when I was pregnant.
Right.
And
Yeah.
breastfeeding. And now they've gone down a little bit. And it's almost like, you miss your fuller boobies.
What does your husband say?
Oh, well, I asked him, I said, this is kind of a decision that I would like you to be a part of. And he said, look, I love your boobs. A lot of boob talk this morning. I love your boobs. And as a man, I think that they are perfect. But also as a man, I think the
Bigger's
bigger the better. So,